Hi, this is part 2, this is Joy. I keep reading the story of Kun, a crippled boy who is living with a beggar. A beggar took him from a drain pipe, and now he's currently taking care of him. A still little boy, and they are both beggars, if you can consider that a profession. Let's keep on. This is part 2. As Kun grew up, he gradually became conscious of his fate, and this forced him into an awareness of the circumstances in which he lived. The scarcity, the poor condition, the hard circumstance in which he lived. As hard as you can think of. At the time of this growing awareness, there was a war and many people died of starvation in Vietnam. The weather was very cold. Kun and old Ha lay rolled up in 2 gunny sacks on the veranda of a house about 100 meters from the new market on the outskirts of the city, Hanoi. Old Ha coughed repeatedly. He was very weak and had not been able to get up for a number of days. Occasionally he coughed hot blood. Kun, you have grown up. I'm about to die. You're about to lose me. Your main support in life. Old Ha whispered weakly. Actually, I'm not your main support. You and I live together like earthworms, cricket, bees, like ants. The old man had a fit of coughing, then cried, "Human beings don't live like us, my dear Kun. Good heavens, why do they persecute us like this? We only want to live like everyone else, but are not able to." Kun listened attentively, then turned away and left old Ha to sob and wail to himself. He did not say anything. He was already familiar with the situation. He lifted his hand across the torn gunny sack to cover his belly. Kun sighed. He was exhausted. For more than 10 years he had been a beggar, and there was nothing he did not know about the life of the downtrodden people who are beggars. We are beggars. With torn clothes and no rice, we become beggars. He knew how the meaningless lives of people were filled with misfortune. They lived like him, like old Ha, like earthworms, cricket, bees, ants. They really thought to be insects, and old Ah remarked that instead of saying, "Listen, you are my son," we listen these lines. Nguyen Tiep abilities to render the reality, the raw reality of people, in this case of beggars, is really high and outstanding. They live like him, like old Ha, like earthworms, like cricket, bees, ants. Kun only suffered more because he was deformed. His body was deformed, so he even suffered more than than ants, than normal beggars. Kun was not a full human being. He found it too difficult to do what everyone else could do. As he got older, Kun saw increasingly that there was nothing easy about standing firmly on the face of the earth. Nothing easy for him. He continued to tremble, continued to take 3 steps over balance. 3 steps, he couldn't go forward, and fall on the ground. His arms and legs would not do what he wanted them to do. Around the time of his awareness, Kun had become anxious for no apparent reason. He didn't understand why he thought or dreamt so much of Zieo, the mistress of the house whose veranda he and the old Ha lay. Miss Zieo, who sold goods at the market, always gave off the strong scent of cheap perfume mixed, as the country girls often mix it, with a touch of naphthalene. So it was a very strong scent. Naphthalene is something used for disinfecting, also in my country. Okay, it's a disinfectant solution. She had a pair of small eyes and a very delicate nose with quivering nostrils. She was full of mischievous jokes and laughter. She called Kun the blob with a beautiful face. Let's repeat. Nói chuyện lại. She called Kun the blob with the beautiful face. I want to remark this part, this so-called name, this nickname she gave to him, because further in the story she will change it. And imagine a woman who called a beggar who is a cripple the blob with a beautiful face. Hey, blob with beautiful face, I will give you a cent. Come to the door tomorrow morning. You are like the star of change, bringing good fortune to this house. When people go to the market and see you, they rush in to do their shoppings, and as thought they are ransacking the place, taking everything from that place. That's mean ransacking. Kun laughed timidly. He bent down to pick up the cent, but fell over on the ground. The coin was 3 bricks away from his hands. 1 brick, 2 bricks, 3 bricks here. The coin was like, where is the camera? Closer to me than the camera. And he couldn't take it easily. The coin was 3 bricks away, but he fell over on the ground. The coin was, he stood up, held on a knee to maintain his center of gravity, and reached out with his free hands. Again, however, he fell obliquely to the right. The coin was now a further brick away from Kun. Miss Dieu laughed like a butterfly on the veranda of the house. Listen to this part. The author, Thiep, says she laughed like a butterfly, so something beautiful. But she's laughing about who? She's laughing about a poor boy who cannot take, a poor beggar, a disabled cripple who cannot take his coin. So she's, I would say, heartless in my culture. But that's what happened. That's the story is telling us, Thiep. That's how we describing this woman. I don't know if you laugh, if you feel emotional, if you are shocked, if you are surprised, if you Vietnamese are angry to hear this reaction. I have no idea. Everybody has different reaction according to his culture. Miss Dieu laughed like a butterfly, like a sweet butterfly. To a blob with a beautiful face, you missed by a long way. Try and get up, try once more and see how you fare. Kun was so pleased, he laughed. This cripple, it looks like he's already in love with this Miss Dieu. I mean, it's the only things beautiful he has ever seen in his life, in his short life, in his hard life. Good heavens, he would make her happy. Kun stood up. He got the courage to do that. He tried to hold up both knees up. That seems to work. That's it. All he had to do was to try a little harder and lean over to the left so that he could reach the coin. He gasped and broke out into sweat. Check it out, this description of Thiep. He's describing very precisely the action of this crippled Kun, our protagonist, in reaching a coin. I think this is really interesting. Why is he trying to describe perfectly how he's trying to move? He want to show you, that's my opinion, he want to show you how hard this was his life. He couldn't even reach this pen. I will give you, Kun, come on, get this pen. Why is a cripple? Oh, despite he's strong, he's resistant, he cannot reach it because his legs don't work. He has only two hands. He cannot stand up like me. He cannot reach this simple pen like everybody can do. But he didn't. He was not. He was not angry. He was not disappointed. He laughed. He's laughing because Miss Zieo is looking at him. He gasped and broke out. Then, at the same moment, as he leaned out to pick up the coin, Zieo jumped down and moved the coin one brick. One brick to the other side. One brick to the side. She shrieked with laughter. Use this verb particularly like a witch. I would say like a witch. It's not written like a witch, but I say. So she put the coin further, because she wouldn't make fun of this poor Kun. Kun lost his poise and fell down. He smashed his head on the bricks, and although he was bleeding from the mouth, he ignored his injury. So he smashed his head and he started bleeding from his lips, but he didn't care in that moment. The woman's attractive nose made him stuck in his breath as quickly as he could. She had never been as close to Kun as that time. Kun laughed heartily. If he had known how, he would have sung. I won't stop here. Kun laughed heartily. So, despite he was bleeding, this Miss Zieo was making fun of him. He couldn't stop but laughing. Despite he was bleeding, and he would have sung. Singing in Vietnamese tradition is telling us Thiep is the highest grade of happiness. The only way you can show your emotion is by singing. So to express this feeling, this I've learned from Vietnamese, my experience in Vietnam, and from my experience talking, listening, watching Vietnamese life, daily life. Singing is their way to express their strength, their passion, their love, their emotion, even their sadness. Every single emotion a Vietnamese person would express by singing. So Kun, in this case, he would have sang. Old Ha sat quietly at the corner of the broken wall, feeling pity as he looked at Kun. The old man stood up sluggishly, went over to the coin, picked it up and put it on his pocket. Zieo stopped laughing. "You miserable old man!" she snapped as her lips tightened impertinently. "The coin wasn't for you at all. I'm sure you will spend it on drink." Old Ha stood crestfallen like someone who had done something wrong and expected a thrashing. Zieo disappeared into the house, while Old Ha squatted down and wiped the blood of Kun's mouth. This is the only very touching, kind gesture the father, the beggar Old Ha, has for his son. He is cleaning his mouth from the blood. Miss Zieo, this woman, caused him to bleed. He picked up Kun up by the armpit and guided him towards the market. Miss Zieo had gradually worked her way into Kun's life. He thought about her endlessly, without ending. He started thinking every day about Miss Zieo. A normal person, if you see a woman and this woman is laughing at you, is mocking you, the first time you see this woman, she laughs at you, she's making fun of you, you would run away, you would hate on her. But this poor boy, this cripple started loving her. He visualized her hair, every move, heard her voice, imagined her laughter. He paid no attention to Old Ha's tear-choked utterances as he lay beside him. Sometime later, old Ha vomited, and as he did so, he pinched Kun's face and so hard with his gnarled fingers that the burning pain suddenly brought Kun back to his senses. Kun, open your eyes. Kun opened his eyes. He was startled to see that old Ha's face had completely changed. I think old Ha was sick. It was waxen and distorted, so that the vertical fluid above the upper lips was stilled. And one side, oh, he got a stroke maybe, like this. He got a stroke, and nobody cares for that. He didn't go to hospital, he's just a beggar. And it's a time of starvation now in the city. From out of the old man's mouth there lapped a flow of black blood. Look how the story gets gruesome, good to real, gets real to the blood, to the poverty. He tried incoherently to say something. He tried to press a small purse into Kun's hands. Kun, ow! He tried to press a small purse into Kun's hands. Kun crawled to his feet. He understood what had happened. Death was appearing before him, before Kun, and before old Ha. It was there. It lurked very deep in the pupils of the old man. So the death goes through eyes in this story of Nguyen Hieu Tiep, and kill the color of them. Kun sobbed. Although he was only very dimly aware of it, he had lost his mainstay, the mainstay of his earthly existence. So this second part I want to stop here reading because I wanted to reflect on the death of old Ha and Kun's reaction and his feelings for Miss Dieo. The only lady appeared in his life and actually mocked him. Okay? Bye.